I hate losing to the Indiana Pacers. I hate losing to the Indiana Pacers. This is now 4 times that we've fallen to the Indiana Pacers when we're trying to take the next step. They are legitimately this team's boogeyman, and I family show hate it. It bothers the living daylights out of me. It we already gone through the 25-year drought. Well, who was that team that stopped us getting to the NBA Finals? It was the Pacers that year. We already know what they did with Melo. We already know what they did last season. And now it's this year too. I'm getting sick of it, man. I'm sick of seeing the Indiana Pacers just stop us from trying to achieve greatness. Obviously, we got to go out there and play our best basketball in order to win, which we clearly did not do today. But I'm just going to start off with that, man. I hate losing to the Indiana Pacers. This loss bothers me. We're going to break down the entire season, how it all looks, but I nothing bothers me more than losing to the Indiana Pacers.
Yeah. It's like you said at the top. It's like just trying to mentally put everything together into thoughts that I can say on this show without getting too crazy and jump out the window. You know, that's what the chat's for. We love you guys for it. Yeah, it's just that stinging feeling of losing to the Pacers again, adding another chapter to this dreadful, dreadful book that no Knicks fan probably would ever want to read, and that's the book versus the Pacers in the playoffs. Um, I think the biggest thing in this loss is just I hate that we left food on the table.
A lot of food.
I said at the top of the play-by-play, if this comes down to us losing and getting eliminated today, but I know that we fought and did everything we could in this game, then so be it. This season was already all over the place, but in good ways, but also there was a lot of negative. And I feel like, unfortunately, in an elimination game, those negatives outshined a lot of everything else that we should have been excited about. Like you said, we're gonna break it all down. But you know, you just look at the stat sheet. And I don't even want to look at it. You know, seeing what JB did in this elimination game. Towns, thank God for him in the second half, but still too little, too late for me. Looking at these damn turnovers, our free throw percentage don't look like a real life free throw percentage in an elimination game. Yeah, just to go out like this and have to simmer in this while we watch the team that beat us once again in the playoffs go and celebrate and have a good time and get whooped in the NBA Finals, it's going to be tough. I'm going to be real, Alex. I don't know if I'm turning on my TV for these finals. I might check in maybe game 3, but I got no thought in my brain to watch or think about basketball anytime soon, especially with this team being included, bro.
I hear you,
But
man. Things
yeah,
may change, though. Things may change for
okay.
you. You know, the series, they don't start the NBA Finals until Thursday, so there's some time for this wound to heal a little bit, but I totally feel you.
I'm doing something Thursday, Alex. Don't ask what. No, I haven't answered yet, but I'm busy on Thursday.
I don't know what the plans are, but I'm making plans. All right.
Yeah, I'm busy.
There's going
I'm
to be
busy.
plans, is what CK's telling me on Thursday. He
I'm
doesn't care
busy.
what it is.
I'm
Could
busy
be like
at
a
8 p.m.
5-hour
EST.
shopping spree with the missus. And CK's like, you know what?
Yeah, bro.
I'll be doing that.
It could be me staring at a wall. Busy.
Watch it
I got
paint
things.
dry.
I got things to do.
Look, man, I think the one thing that sticks out, if we're gonna let's just start with this game, man, and just talk about why we're here. And as you said, there was too much food left on the table. Part of that, turnovers, and just dumb turnovers. Absolutely infuriating turnovers. It was like it just felt like we were rushing to get to a means where we didn't even know what the means was. It was like, all right, let's just make this pass. And I'm like, why are we making this pass? Why are we jump passing? Why are we trying to thread the needle where we know that this Pacers team has shown throughout this series they are capable of just deflecting because they have the wingspan to do that at all positions, 1 through 5. Everybody's got the wingspan to, disrupt some passes. And I felt like we constantly tried to thread the needle, or we tried to make passes that weren't even there, or even better yet, that shouldn't even be made.
Last part.
What are we doing, man?
Yeah.
Why are we making passes that aren't even there? That is like the biggest thing to me in this game. When I'm looking at the turnovers, 17 turnovers, 17, CK. 17 turnovers. We're not even going to wait for, breaking this thing down for key stats of the night. We're getting right into this because this is just an abomination by the New York Knicks to even allow 17 turnovers in one game. All right? 17 turnovers. And here we go. That's 17 by NBA. 18, according to ESPN. 18 of our turnovers, get this, translated to 34 conceded points. 34. Like, how do you... I get that turnovers are going to happen in this game. And this is a compounding issue as well, because it's not just that you're making turnovers. Then you're not getting out in transition to stop the turnovers that you made. Like, and it's just dumb stuff, man, where it's like you're complaining, like players are complaining, players are waiting. There's like a lack of like awareness. There's a lack of urgency. This team wants to get out there and run. Your life is like, this is a do or die game for you to get yourself back to New York. And you're just chilling. Just watching everybody like run up and down the court, just be like, easy layup. Siakam gets an easy layup. Obi gets an easy layup. Nebhard gets an easy layup. Oh, there goes another three. And this is not coaching, and we can get to the coach later. This is to the players not executing and just doing dumb-ish. Everybody. There's no one who is missing from doing dumb-ish today, okay? We go down, it is Mikal Bridges with 5 turnovers. You got Karl-Anthony Towns with 4 turnovers. All right? Josh Hart, 3. What's going on, man? 3 turnovers for Josh Hart. Like, you're just shooting yourself in the foot. When all those guys were, it's like I had no idea what they saw on the court to say, hey, let's make that pass. Just no idea for any of the passes that they made tonight. Absolutely. That is number one to me. We could talk about the lack of defense. I don't know why Karl-Anthony Towns isn't drop coverage. That has never worked against a team that can shoot threes.
That's Cat. That's Cat. That's Cat. That's why I had to like. Well, that's Cat. That's him. You know what I mean? Even Brunson, who's not a great defender, at least in the first half, he was even at least stepping up on those pick and rolls and helping off those screens. Cat don't do that. He gonna stay on the drop no matter what. People are saying it's because of his knee. That's Cat.
Yeah.
What do we do about that? We'll find out.
My apologies. By the way, my apologies. I'm looking at personal fouls before. Cat only had 2 turnovers. My apologies. Brunson was the one with 5 turnovers. I was like, wait, I know Brunson had more than that. I was like, Brunson had 5.
The Nova boys were throwing that ball around the court.
Nova boys were making all the poor passes. Let's salute one of our sponsors tonight, Morgan & Morgan, okay? And, well, maybe you needed Morgan & Morgan for against the Knicks, man, because, hey, they made you punch a mirror. But, hey, Morgan & Morgan, with over $25 billion recovered for over 500,000 clients, Morgan & Morgan has a proven track record of fighting to get you full and fair compensation. In Florida, a client received $12 million after the insurance company's best offer was just $350,000. In Pennsylvania, a client was awarded $26 million, a staggering 40 times the insurance company's original offer of $650,000. There's a reason why you choose Morgan & Morgan. It's because they are not willing, but ready, I should say, to fight for people like you and I. They have over 35 years of experience, and they have over 100 offices and more than 1,000 attorneys nationwide. When hiring Morgan & Morgan, it's like hiring an army that has your back. If you're injured by the negligence of another, you deserve to be paid. When you hire the wrong law firm, you may be beat before you start. All law firms are not the same. So, if you're ever injured, you can check out Morgan & Morgan. Their fee is free unless they win. For more information, go to forthepeople.com/KFTV or dial pound law. That's pound 529 from your cell phone. That's forthepeople.com/KFTV or pound law pound 529 from your cell. This is a paid advertisement.
This was a tough way to go out. Knicks lost 125-108, as you guys know. The keys to this game it was, pretty much unanimous for everybody because we all saw it. Limit the mistakes, play defense. For me, it was going to be understanding that they're going to pressure the ball tremendously. You're going to get a much more intense pacer defense. Who else is coming along for the ride with Cap and JB? OG rose to the challenge. Wanted to see a lot more from other players, but let me first start with the mistakes, man. I mean, they played their worst game of the entire series tonight. 18 turnovers led to 34 Pacer points. This was the key. You could asterisk it coming into the series. This was the number one team in transition, where you are the weakest, where you are susceptible to being exposed. Daniel, let's go back to the main box. This is the number one team in terms of transition. The Knicks don't pick up well in transition. They haven't done it since the preseason. And it's still their biggest weakness. And you had 18 turnovers tonight on a night where you had to be crisp. Just sloppy once again. And they killed them for it. You look at the free throw line, 65% from the charity stripe. Those things right there is why you got the result that you got tonight. I'm not saying that if they would have cleaned all that up that they would have won, but at least you keep it close. But this is the thing where we have to face the reality of what this team is. And the hope was that as they traverse through these playoffs, through the highs and the lows, the ups and the downs, that they would bring it together, right? Every game after every win, we're like, man, I hope this is it. I hope this is the time this team turns a corner in terms of a lot of the issues that they have. And then the next game, it becomes the same thing again. And so in the micro, the cardiac Nick thing, it's exciting. It's exhilarating, right? And when you're coming back from 20 points down, oh, my God, we just did that to the Celtics. Hey, even when you're down to the Pistons by double digits and you shouldn't have been. Oh, my God, I can't believe it. What a game. Look at the shot that Karl-Anthony Towns hit. Look at the shot that Brunson hit. Man, that is excitement galore in the playoffs. This is why we spill out onto 7th Avenue and have parades every night. Because what other fan base goes through such dramatic peaks and valleys? No other fan base went through that but us. So in the micro, it's like, oh, man, this is great. But in the macro, the question is, are you a championship caliber team? And after, a couple of these games, game 4, I'm like, doesn't appear that way. Because they can't shake these demons. The mistakes buried them. You're going, it could carry you past Detroit. And it, to some extent, it carried them past Boston. But the higher you go up, the cleaner you have to be. Give credit to the Pacers. Congratulations to the Pacers. They exercised their demons after being a bridesmaid last year, and they were terrific in this series. You hate to admit it because of the team and the players and their star players were fantastic. You hate to admit it, but they went out there and snatched this game tonight. But for the Knicks, you compounded these issues and it crushed them. On top of that, and again, I don't really want to get into offseason talk and all of that. We got a lot of time for that. But on top of that, the question will remain with this 5. Can you win with this 5 in crunch time situations? How does the Block Nest Monster have his most dominant game in the postseason? I've been telling y'all before the postseason even started. My guy needs to close this thing out for this team to be serious. And he's still not putting him in the game. Why? You have to play defense. You have to stop possessions.
Bro, they had a moment where it was like 8 points in like the fourth quarter. I'm like, oh, this is a good time to bring in Mitch. We got to single digits. We should
How many times?
Dude, and then you just leave that 5 out there with Towns, who was struggling today.
How many
and then
times?
it gets up to 13, 15 points. Then he brings in Mitch.
How many times, bro, do I have to say that Mitchell Robinson has to finish the games? Either Towns has to be sacrificed or Josh Hart has to get up at the game.
That's not a hard decision.
It's one or the other, bro.
And honestly,
Or
sometimes you can
maybe
put both.
Roberts.
Honestly, you could even
Yeah.
do both. You could put McBride in there. He got very
Exactly.
little minutes.
Exactly. You've got to play defense, man. And against this Pacer team that did a tremendous job the entire series exposing the Knicks' biggest weaknesses. Look at the gap in points over turnovers.
Huge.
World class. It's not exactly that the Knicks' turnovers were like just tremendously high. Yes, it was fairly high. But this Pacer team is better than anybody than turning it into points. And whether you want to say that, oh, the Knicks, should have done that. What do you think OKC was going to do? What do you think the Thunder was going to do to you in that regard?
Sheesh.
Lessons learned. The Pacers learned their lesson last year, and they got back to it this year. Played a tremendous game. Their bench, you had Thomas Bryant. Did Thomas Bryant outscore the entire Knick bench? How much Thomas Bryant had to compare to the Knick bench tonight?
Oh God, and I'm scared to look.
Thomas Bryant had.
My man had 11.
11. He had 11.
Yeah. He went 3 or 4
Thank
from
God for
downtown.
Anthony.
Lessons
Same spot,
learned.
100%.
Lessons learned. Yeah, like I said, the mistakes. Championship teams don't make them type of mistakes on a consistent basis. It becomes a point where you are who you are. And unfortunately for this team, they got by with the talents. Cap's talent is undeniable. Even though tonight was not his night. Give credit to the Pacers. Give credit to Nembhard. Their defensive pressure, 94 feet every single possession, was relentless. Give credit to them. The Knicks were able to skate by the entire playoffs that way with tremendous play from Cap and sometimes Cat. And every once in a while, you get an OG, you get a McCall, you get a Deuce game, and they'll bring it together. And sometimes their defense will bring it together. But it was just not consistent enough to be a series contender this year. And this is why they're going to Cancun after Game 6. It just wasn't there, man. And not to single out certain players, but man, the Hart situation, man, frustrating, man.
Extremely. You're not singling it. You're not. I mean, look, man. Brunson was awful tonight too. He had 5 turnovers, man.
Cap was bad. Cap was bad. I mean, look, if you holding Brunson at 19 points, you're going to win the game. Yeah. Most likely, you're going to win the game.
He went 8 of 18 from the field, 2 of 7 from downtown, 5 turnovers.
Yeah,
he had 7 assists, but 5 turnovers to go with that. That's tough, man. That's tough to watch. I thought the Pacers did a great job of doubling him, bringing as soon as he crossed half court, they made sure that he saw multiple bodies.
That's
had to make difficult decisions.
They were great. Yeah. They were great. The Hart indecisiveness,
crazy,
has really hurt this team. And again, I'm not trying to get into off-season talk, but he's the first person, and again, it's going to be hard for them to.
He's not going anywhere.
No, not going anywhere. But they've got to find an upgrade. They got to find an upgrade. He's not going to age well with his game. Gotcha. His game's not going to age well. between the threes. And now, even when he's playing his A game in transition, you scared of Obi?
Oh.
You scared of Obi now? You passing off transition buckets to pass it. Look, I like Delon Wright. I advocated for Delon for his defense. But if I'm Josh Hart, I'm not giving up my transition buckets to get an and one to pass it to Delon Wright in crunch time, man.
Yeah.
He only had one turnover tonight, but like overall, it just was not good. Key stats of the night. Brought to you by Underdog Fantasy, Daniel, if you could pick it up. Yeah, I mean, look at the Pacers stats, man. They shot 54% from the field. Knicks shot 47 from the field, 51% for the Pacers from three. And a lot of that was generated by their ball movement, their transition offense. And for the Knicks, they couldn't get the requisite ball movement and the right guys hitting shots. Like the Knicks shot 28% from three. But if you look at it from a volume standpoint, Obi and JB took the most. Towns, took 4. Deuce, nothing. 0 for 1. Shamit, 4 for 7 from downtown. I don't know if a lot of those came in garbage time, but maybe he had a couple when the game was within bounds. But that's another thing with the Knicks, man. Like, couldn't find the accuracy. Mikal Bridges 1 for 2. Towns 0 for 4. And Cap 2 for 7. I thought that was another area that kind of hurt the Knicks, especially when the Pacers beat them. I mean, how much did they get outscored from 3 by? This is 41-27. So they lost a 3-point battle by 14 points. Free throws, another area. Knicks were poor. 84% from the Pacers, 65 for the Knicks. Can't win that way. Knicks did win the rebounding battle. Pacers smoked them on the assist 30-23. And then again, the biggest one tonight for me was the turnovers. Knicks gave up 18 turnovers, which led to 34 Pacer points. Pacers gave up 13 turnovers, which led to 13 Knick points. That's where the Pacers are strongest, and you just can't afford it. You can't afford it. Fast break battle, 25-10. Knicks got smoked from there again. Points in the paint, 54 for the Knicks, 50 for the Pacers. Largest lead for the night for the Knicks, 5 in the opening series, the opening quarter. But for the Pacers, 21, fellas. Now, what do you think there?
Biggest thing for me, man, is just the turnovers, and that would translate to the points off turnovers. I mean, it's the most glaring issue with this team. I mean, we just talked about it. The fact that this team gave up 34 points off of 18 turnovers. And by the way, Pacers gave up 13 turnovers, but the fact that the Knicks can only get a point per turnover, only got 13.
Right.
That's brutal, man. CP, we talked about this in the last post game. The Knicks needed to take advantage of all these Pacer turnovers. And the one that sticks out in my head is the Josh Hart, Karl-Anthony Towns both having opportunities to complete a bucket in transition, and neither one was capable of doing so in the same play. That just tells you everything you need to know about this series.
Right.
So I'm looking at turnovers, man. Turnovers were just absolutely brutal tonight.
And that's what I mean in terms of, like, it's one thing to say turnover, because when you look at even like turnover percentage, like the Knicks aren't necessarily bad, but it's how much you give up.
Yes.
They got scored by 21, and they gave up only 5 more turnovers than the Pacers, and they lost that by 21 points.
It could have been a greater CP. This Pacers missed wide open shots in the first quarter off of Knick turnovers or lack of getting out in transition defensively. And I thought, wow, are the Pacers going to be off like this for the rest of the night? Because then the Knicks really have a chance, because they weren't doing their best defensively to keep up with that.
Yeah. Yeah, man. CK, your thoughts?
Yeah. Is pass an option? No. My choice. Alex knows my answer. Free throws in an elimination game, man. 17-26 from the free throw line in an elimination game. I mean, in the fourth quarter alone, we saw Cat go 1 for 4 in the beginning of that fourth quarter where, you know, those are free throws that can push you on that run. You know what I mean? Like if you make at least 3 of the 4 of those free throws, those are the ones that can push you, you know, in a different mindset that, you know, we're still in this, we're making a run. We see the ball going through the hoop. To have 26 free throws, go 17 for 26 in this one, we got opportunities and we just left them on the line in our last game of the season. Man, oh man, we gotta clean that up. 6 for 10 for Towns. You mentioned it earlier. 1 for 2 from Brunson, mind you. Mr. Foulbaiter himself, only 2 free throws. It's just I find that crazy. I find it crazy. That's a huge stat.
Yeah, for sure, man. Key stats tonight brought to you guys by Underdog Fantasy. Use our code KFTV at underdogfantasy.com or the Underdog app. And to get up to $1,000 in bonus cash plus a free pick, that's a great way to get involved in Underdog Fantasy. And hey, you got the NBA Finals coming up. You got the NHL Stanley Cup Finals coming up. You got MLB baseball. So there are a number of sports that you can test the waters on when it comes to Underdog Fantasy. And there are a number of games you can play. Number one, you can play their draft, their daily draft. So just like a fantasy draft, whether it's fantasy football, fantasy baseball, fantasy basketball, fantasy hockey, you pick your players on a given day, whoever's playing that night, and you go head to head against your opponent, and you can wager from small amounts all the way to big pots, depending on what you want to get involved in. Then the other game you can play is the pick'em side, where you pick between 2 to 8 players, and you predict whether or not that player is going to go higher or lower on a given stat projection that Underdog has that night for that player, and you can win up to 300 times your money. So once again, pick them, win them, and watch them. Pick them, watch them, and win them, rather. Use our code KFTV at Underdog Fantasy or the Underdog app for up to $1,000 in bonus cash plus a free pick. Let's get to some more Knicks Fix. How you doing?
CP, CK, Alex, what up, guys?
How you doing, bro?
Hey, man. I'm just give me 2 minutes and I'm gonna cook, man. Like, I've watched Thibs, just destroy the game that I love, man, on both ends of the court, bro. Like, same thing I yelled about in October, it's the same thing now. The dude can't design a play to beat the press. Spain pick and roll work last game. We run it twice this game. No double drag screens, no horns, no floppy action, nothing. What's our identity? Okay,
that's not true, bro. They do run those things. They do run those things.
Okay, but on the offensive end, okay, what's our identity? We don't got an identity. OKC is defense. Indiana, they run. Our offense is this. If the play breaks down, we got one action. If the play break down, ISO Brunson. That's it. Kept in and drop coverage since October, bro. It wasn't working. He was directly responsible for 3 threes that we gave up in the second quarter. Then in the fourth quarter, Hallie was able to get around McHale and kept so far in drop coverage in the paint that he just lays up a floater. That makes me think, is he that dumb of a defensive player? It can't be, because in Minnesota, he was not playing drop like that. And I watched them play last year. It's the same. One thing I want to say, man, these are fireable offenses. Like game one, he played, we got a lead, we bring back in Brunson. We don't need that. We don't need offense. We need defense. Game 2, go into the fourth, it's a tie game, you started with Cam. We go down 6, timeout, you bring back Cam. Game 4, we didn't play DeLon, we didn't play Shamet, the lineup that got you to win in game 3. It's like, bro, I've had enough, man. This ain't basketball we're watching. You got to have a defensive scheme. You got to have a modern coach that runs offensive sets with multiple actions, and you need to run zone to cover deficiencies that players lack. We don't have any of that. And I know we don't want to talk about like no off-season talk, but at the end of the day, Cat, Hart, and Thibs, you can't keep all of them. It's not gonna work. And this is the time, bro. This is the time. Yo, shout out to you guys, man, for giving us a platform. But like,
Of course,
bro, take it easy, fellas. Take it easy.
Appreciate you, man. Rate that call in the chat, man. Do you agree with Knicks Fix? 1 being trash, 5 being facts. Shout out to our friends over at Bear Mattress for keeping us, keeping us comfortable out there, man. Because listen, when you're buying a bed, that's one of the biggest investments that you're going to make in your life. And the best thing about Bear Mattress, fellas, is that they're giving the people in KnicksFanTV the biggest discount that you can get out there, and that is with code KFTV. Yeah, right now, you're looking at the site right now. Shout out to Daniel. It says 35% off site-wide, but if you use code KFTV at checkout, you get 40. What do I like about Bear Mattress, fellas? The fact is is that they don't just try to sell you a mattress. They pair you with the mattress that best fits your lifestyle. How do they do that? You fill out a survey. Very easy. Fill out a quick survey talking about your sleep preferences, your sleep lifestyle, and then they will pair you up with one of the many mattress options that they have. So when I filled mine out, they sent me the Elite Hybrid. That's for me. I need my sleep, man. Cardiac Nick affairs take a lot of energy out of me. I got to rest up. So then I tap out and I get my 8 hours on the Elite Hybrid. As you can see, 4,000 reviews, 4.5 stars. And trust me, it is mad comfortable. I love sleeping on it. I'm going to go crash out on it after tonight's brutal loss. And I'm probably going to sleep for 12 hours to heal my wounds because I'm wounded right now. So, but shout out to my guys at Bear Mattress once again. Industry rated, as you can see, from Forbes magazine to Good Housekeeping to Men's Health. Bear Mattress is it. So make sure you guys go to bearmattress.com. Use our code KFTV for 40% off site-wide. Can't beat it. All right, let them know that the good people at KnicksFanTV sent you. Shout out to our friends once again at Bear Mattress.